Yes, sir.
Willie, you're in charge of pizza. Why don't you tell us when we can start eating? And why? And tell us why we're eating.
Came in on the short end of the
Contest.
we're having. So it's on us. Enjoy.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you, Willie. For the newcomers, we will put new people on teams. Chris, by the way, your points are awesome this time. Whoa. We'll put new people on teams. There's no pressure. It's really a lot of fun. And you get a point for being here today. You get a point for wearing a name tag. And we do 3 teams. If you're on the losing team, and Willie was, then you get to do something special at the end of the first 3 months for the rest of us. And special today is pizza. So if you haven't helped yourself, go for it. And I will continue to talk and visit with you guys as we go forward. I see lots of cool new faces here. When Lee returns from the restroom, I'm going to have her get some names. Okay, good. Come on, Lee. Lee. Hey, Sveta. Lee, we have new people, so we're going to go around the room and you're going to get new people logged in, okay? So which, raise your hand if you were on the losing team that provided pizza. Thank you so much. You know, you didn't have to lose. All you had to do is get a few more points. So
We're going to win this time.
you're going to win. Actually, it's looking good. It's looking good. Oh, two pieces. The man with a phone in his ear. Okay, we're going to go around the room today, and you're going to tell me, and you cannot tell me pizza. You're going to tell me what's making you happy today, but the answer cannot be pizza. So I'm going to start at the back of the room, and this is how Lee's going to get some of our newcomers' names. Name, please, and what makes you happy today?
Vern Felt, and what makes me happy today is that I've got my first ARAC, my first pre-approved buyer.
Whoa!
And all we got to do now is find the place.
We need a round of applause for this guy. I'm loving that. So you have to tell us how you. It's not your mother, is it?
No, it's not my mother.
Oh, how'd you find the buyer?
Socializing.
Okay.
As part of my my business plan is to socialize twice a day. One would be just to go to a general shopping center and run into people I know, get conversations started. The second is to find some type of entertainment, whether it is going out and shooting pool with some buddies or going to the boxing matches or so on and so on. Mm-hmm. This particular one happened to be a friend of mine who loves a glass of beer.
And you just met him socially, and all of a sudden he's a buyer now.
No, I know him socially.
Oh, okay.
And sat down, and he was asking how life was, wow. And I said, I am now licensed. He knows me from my past life and my professionalism in my past life. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know, if...
Oh, my gosh.
And I responded with the next day with, oh, by the way, here's one to go and think about. That particular property was not available to go see because there was a whole bunch of things going on with it. So, but we did discuss it. Mm-hmm. I said, realistically, that's the only one I see on the market that fits your criteria today. But the next step is let's get you to finance.
And what does he qualify for? What's his buying power?
Well, his buying wants are $200. Mm-hmm. His buying power is $280, keeping his current home.
Perfect.
Yep.
Great job for socializing. So if he ends up buying a home for $250,000, how much will your commission check be, more or less?
I haven't even thought about that yet.
Think about it.
But that would equal 6 plus 2, 5, so 8.5.
$8,500 because he had a glass of beer with a friend. You love this business? All right. Lee, what's making you happy today? You can't say pizza.
Wow. What's making me happy today?
You can say me.
No.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
Not pizza, really. I'm getting all of my things done that I want to get done.
There you go. Feeling of accomplishment. Yeah. What's making you happy today? Oh, so you got to say your name.
Terry Ellis.
And what's making me happy today, I met with a buyer this morning, had him finish signing papers to put in a offer, and I got to meet with him again after he gets off work, but we're putting in an offer on a piece of property on a condo tonight.
Round of applause. Good. How'd you meet this buyer?
He was a referral from Jim Murphy.
Okay. Jim's your pipeline. Good. Good. Nothing wrong with that.
Great guy.
All right. Name and what's making you happy today. And it can be personal. It doesn't have to be business.
My name's Alyssa Bell, and I received my business cards today, so now I can send
That
out
makes
my
you happy.
letters.
Yes, I'm loving it. Make sure we have all these people's names down. That's why we're doing this. Chris, give us your name and what's making you happy today.
Well, my name is Chris Hughes, and I'm with Home State Mortgage, and what's making me happy is all the clients that I've scheduled this week have shown up so far this week. So that's a good thing.
How many have you scheduled?
I've scheduled 9 appointments this week.
Whoa, where's that coming from?
I'm teaching first-time home buyers at Alaska Housing. So,
coming from that.
yes,
Wow.
I got 9 appointments scheduled from last Tuesday night's class.
That's remarkable. But don't forget we need some of that business, Chris. Hand that out to us nice realtors in this room. All right, Chris, that's be great.
Melanie Jones, and
High point getter, by the way.
hopefully we're going to close by the end of the month.
What's making you happy is
Closing, hopefully, at the end of the month, or 1st of February. Floor time.
Floor time, yes. How many people take floor? Raise your hand super high. Yes, floor is amazing. Can be very good. If you don't get a phone call, what are you doing? What do you do if you don't get a phone call on floor? Make phone calls. John had the answer. Make the calls. Don't sit and wait for business.
I'm Wesley Gore. I've been working with a new buyer recently. Been busy helping her, so that's a good thing.
That's making you happy?
Yeah,
Where'd the buyer come from?
open house.
How many people do open houses? Raise your hand super high. All right. You guys are doing everything right. Right. We have a newcomer. Your name, please.
My name is Joan Clark, and I'm really happy today because it's the first step of learning everything I can about the business, and so I feel happy about my first step. I got lost on the hillside, but I learned.
What were you doing on the hillside?
On the home tour,
Oh, you went on tour today. Yeah, they drive 90 miles an hour.
I learned that I have to follow the others because on my own I was lost up there.
Well, you went on tour. Good for you. Good for you. Went on tour. Joan, what was it?
Clark's.
Joan Clark, C-L-A-R-K. And what did you do in your former life? before you
I'm
did this?
retired from the state, and then
Okay.
the last 5 years I've been working for a man who owns properties, commercial and residential, a lot of properties.
So you already have your hand in real estate a little bit.
Well, I did his payables, but you just learn a lot from osmosis.
Well, we're glad you're with Jack White. Did you interview anyplace else?
No, because
Smart lady.
I was so happy with Teresa, and everyone was so pleasant in this building.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a great place to be. We're happy you're here. Good move, good move. Okay, we have your name logged in. Lee, I think she can go on the third team, right? This young lady I just spoke with.
Yeah, she'll be on that third team.
Okay, Willie. Name.
Hi, my name is Willie Brown, and what's making me happy today is I have hopefully a closing on the 20th of this month, and just picked up another buyer, and we are now in contract. Wow. And that's scheduled to close on.
Where did this buyer come from?
This buyer came from, he was a friend of mine from back in the day, and I hadn't seen him in a while and stuff, but I have another friend that's a good friend of his that knows I'm in real estate, and so he had him get in touch with me, and so,
Personal referral.
yes.
I love it. Good. I have to go back over to you. So you're here to learn. What have you learned so far today? And just hearing these comments that making these people happy.
Connections are important. Your friends are important. I mean, they're your friends first, but they also have a life. And I'm already telling everybody I know how happy I am with what I'm doing.
And being proactive in getting the business, the open houses and the floor time, right? Right. Yeah, take advantage. As soon as you have a license, take advantage of that. Welcome. You have a name tag already. How'd you pull that
I'm not sure. I'm still trying to get the rest of the ducks in a row.
But you have a name.
I don't have a business card yet. I don't have my license back from the
We
state
just
yet.
didn't want you to forget who you were.
I should have put it on upside down if I wanted to do that.
Okay, yeah, good
Because I
point.
can't read it now. It is upside down if I want.
You're in good shape.
Right,
Okay,
I'm
so
trying.
name for everybody else.
Dan Bale.
Okay, and what makes you happy today?
Today, what makes me happy is the fact that I'm getting closer to getting all those ducks in a line.
What did you do before you came to real estate, Dan?
I survived 40 years being a bush pilot.
Really?
I did.
Who'd you fly for?
A lot of people.
Oh my
Lake Hood for a lot of years, different companies. In fact, I still fly for one of them there, Penn Air.
Wow.
Security Aviation. You know,
You-
the FBI busted the doors down.
Oh, yeah.
I worked there then. That was amazing.
You're not the reason, are you?
No. In fact, they never did find a reason.
Well, you know, you must have about 300 pilots you could be farming, right? to let
Oh,
them know that you're
well, and as soon as I get that license number back and the business license, I actually have 2 buyers. Does that make me happy? Yes, but not having my license number doesn't.
It'll come quickly. So, did you interview any place else besides Shack White?
No. Well, I talked to some people who worked in other places, but literally Teresa is an asset this company can't afford to ever lose.
She's a wonderful asset. Well, we're glad you're here. Congratulations. Welcome aboard. We do this every Tuesday. Every Tuesday that there's a sales meeting, we'll be here.
We have pizza every 3 months, is that the deal?
Well, not necessarily. When my team lost, we'd had champagne, so you never know. Name?
Brad Custer.
Brad Custer. And what makes you happy today?
I got a buyer that's actually finally looking at something after 7 months.
That would work. That would make me happy too. A multifamily. There's somebody's trying to do a multifamily open house. Some licensee needs a open house person for multifamily. Name?
My name is Sveta, and there's actually 2 things that makes me very happy today. There's 108 days till I graduate school.
With a degree in what?
Bachelor's in accounting.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
been a long 5 years, and I'm so excited. So it should be a really busy semester. I have 6 classes, but I'm just so motivated to do everything. It's amazing. And then another thing that makes me really happy is I got an earnest money check this morning from one of my buyers, out-of-state buyers. So I'm going to make an offer today.
Wow, congratulations. Where did that buyer come
I went to a socializing event, and I just randomly met him.
from? Was that the one you talked about last week?
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, it's not the same event, but it's related church event.
Okay.
So from last week, that's the guy who wants to list his house with me. The one that they just want to buy something, and it's going to be a cabin in Big Lake.
Great.
It's not super huge income check, but hey,
Yeah, it's business.
Like $150,000.
Oh.
I'll take it.
All right. John, what's making you happy? Name first.
John Wilson.
What's making you happy today?
I have an offer on 2 lots, so I hope that goes through today. And I'm showing some more lots on Thursday and Friday.
You're going to become a lot guru. I bet you're learning a lot about lots.
Also listing another 40-acre parcel.
Are you with the same sellers?
No, this is somebody totally different.
How did you find them?
It's a cold call.
This guy is just too much. That's a round of applause for this guy. Everything happens. John, you're doing amazing. Name, sir?
Dan Lackey.
Dan Lackey. Get it, Lee? Okay. What's making you happy today, Dan? We're glad to see you back.
I'm here.
You showed up.
That's good
That makes
enough.
you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. All right, great. We normally do success stories, but I heard about 7 today, so we're good. Any field problems? We're all busy, really busy with new deals. Yeah, I feel a lot. Yeah.
I have a field problem, and I don't know. One of my biggest problems is when I get somebody that I can refer. They want to interview agents. That's the big thing now, I guess. So I'm giving them 3 different agents to interview, and then I'm letting them know. Is that okay?
I think it's perfectly okay. I think if they want to interview realtors, you would be doing yourself a disservice. They'll lose confidence in you if you don't allow that to happen. And yes, I think letting the other realtors know that that's what you professional, and any realtor that doesn't want to be part of that, that's their loss.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, Chris.
Okay.
Any other concerns, problems? Okay. All right, let's see how the teams are stacking up. Then we'll jump to our subject today. Okay, this session started January 7th. We're going to go through April 6th. It's 3 months. And the team in first place right now is, go figure, John Wilson's team, Captain John Wilson. He is the high point getter with 91 prospect calls in a 1 week. Is that 1 week? In 1 week, 91 prospect calls, total of 105 points. And our second highest point getter is Chris, who's handed out in 1 week 52 business cards. Amazing. How did you do that?
Well, everybody at the classes got a business card, so I counted that.
That counts.
Yeah, I should have put them under prospecting, I guess, but, and then I also go to socializing events, the Rotary and other events like that.
Chris, yeah. That's going to make a difference. That's our first place team, John Wilson's team. Second place team is Veta's team. High point getter is Melanie Jones with 71 points. Melanie has handed out 36 business cards and has prospect called 24 people in a 1 week time frame. That is remarkable. So how did you hand out 36 business cards?
At open houses, I actually had quite a bit of luck.
Mhm.
To open houses, and then my husband works at the Warrior Transition Unit, and a lot of those people are here because they have family and they plan to stay in Alaska, so I went and handed out.
Wow. Wow. Good for you. All right. And Sveta is second place with 5. She's worn her name tag 5 times, and she's handed out 5 business cards. And then our third place team, Captain Brad, fortunately I'm in first place with 17 business cards handed out, and Terry is in second on that team. He's handed out 10 cards, but the team is behind Brad. We need to hustle a little bit. Oh. That's okay. That's how it works. You have a little time to do that. Okay, anything that we need to talk about before we jump to open market analysis at open houses? Good? Okay, I'm going to hand this out. I did an open house recently for Larry Ann, and I thought this would be a really good testing ground for how I do a market analysis for an open house. And for the newcomers here, a market analysis at an open house helps you know the market. So you don't show up at this property cold. You know the market. This is just the listing printout. I just want you to know where I start. And I was telling people last week that because I had done a market analysis at a home up in Prominence Point, a particular couple came in and they assumed I knew the market because I had a market analysis, and that segued into the sale of a $700,000 home. And the whole reason they called me was, Kathy, you just seem to really know the market. Well, the truth is, I just had a market analysis with me. I didn't know any more than anybody else, but I did have information with me. So I start out with the listing, and I try to confine the listing. I don't want to do an entire area search. That's going to be too much information. You don't want so much information that it's meaningless to people. And we will end up with this, and I think you all have one of these. We'll end up with this very simple 2-page market analysis that I take to my open houses. In this case, with Winding Way, I was able to confine my search to the subdivision, the legal description, the subdivision. Can you tell me what the subdivision is, anybody?
It's in Muldoon area.
What's the name of the subdivision? Counties. And that's on the MLS printout, right? So that's where I start. I confine it to the subdivision. Now, if it's a subdivision with 3 houses in it, then you're going to have to go to the map page. You don't want to make it too big. All you're really trying to do is become an expert. In this case, I wanted to know all I could about Town East subdivision. So then I go to MLS, of course, and I plug in what's for sale, what's sold, what's expired, what's canceled, and what's in sale pending in Town East subdivision. So I just ask for all the information. I don't just want to know what's for sale, although it's critical to know what's for sale. I want to know what's sold recently as well. Why do you think I would want to do that? Why would I want to know what has sold recently? Exactly. What has sold recently, not only because there's going to be neighbors that will come in and say, well, I thought that house sold for $400,000. And I said, no, actually it sold for $375,000. It's right here. They started out at $400,000, but they only sold for $375,000. kind of know more than the neighbors know about the subdivision. And if you're the go-to person if they need a realtor for their house, they might be a seller. So when I did that search with all those parameters, I learned there were 3 for sale in Towney subdivision. I learned that 10 had sold, and the default program in MLS goes back how far, really? The default. 1 year. So you know, you don't have to hunt and search and check dates and everything. You know that the default goes back 12 months in MLS. If you were an appraiser doing an appraisal, how far back would you be allowed to go to search sold properties, sold comparable properties if you were an appraiser? 6 months. Right. So we're not appraisers. And you'll have people come into your open houses that will say, well, that house just sold, but the truth is, it might have sold 3 years ago, and their mind it just sold. And you can say, you know, I'm sorry, but in the past 12 months, and you see I label this too, so it makes sense to people. And then I make extra copies of this, and I hand this to people when they come in. Yes, sir, if you don't care for the home I'm in, there are 2 others for sale. Feel free to drive by. And if you want, after my open house today, I can get you in to look at those houses. If you decide, if they want you to do that, what form do you have to have with you at all times? Right. Do they need to sign an AREC just coming to your open house?
No.
Good. You all get A's today.
Except when you own it.
Except when you own it, personally own it, you probably should. You probably should have a sign that says, I own this house, and I am also a realtor.
Now, is that,
Yes, I'm listening.
what would make you have to do, I mean, it's an open house. You could
Well, if
say
he's,
this.
if he's the owner,
Sure.
if he's the owner doing his own open house, I think he's extremely well advised to say, I'm owning this property. And if you have an interest in this property, you'll need to sign this AREC.
Oh, yeah, but during the open house, they wouldn't have to, I mean, I would let them know
That you were the owner?
that I was the owner and
So-
stuff.
Right, that's what I do. Yes, I am the owner and I own it.
So,
if they
Brad,
don't
I think we'll just
I'm just the
question-
owner standing in there or I'm just the realtor standing in there, I want you to know for a fact.
So you make it crystal clear that you're the owner. So let me ask you this question. If your son wanted to buy the house you own, who would you represent? I had this happen, and I didn't have the right answer, but I learned the hard way.
I'd have to have him get another realtor.
Actually, you don't.
No.
You don't. I mean, you might want
You
to.
can't be neutral.
No, you can't. If you are selling your own home to a family member, or you represent yourself only and your family member, you can only assist them. So we sold a condo that we owned to my daughter and her husband, and I just assumed I could be a neutral licensee. Why not? I've been doing this forever, before she was born.
You can't be neutral to yourself.
Yeah, and so I went to Gabe, and Gabe said, no, you have to only represent yourself, and you'll have to only assist your daughter and her husband. And my daughter said, but Mom, I want you to represent us. I said, I can't, but I can assist you.
assist and you still get commission?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
Nothing to do
You're
with
double
me.
in.
Yeah. It's just that I had to.
So it doesn't
represent-
really matter that much.
It didn't matter on the commission, and they weren't paying the commission anyway because they were buyers. Kathy and her husband paid the commission to Jack White. Okay, anyway, so I leave these in the house, and when people come into the property, in addition to getting their name and phone number and asking them how they found me, was it the ad or was it the signs, and are they in the market for a home, or are they considering selling their own home, especially if they're a neighbor. And we always ask them to buy the house we're in, don't we? Always ask them to buy the home we're in, even if they don't like it. Right? I know you don't like this home, you just told me that, sir. I know you needed 4 bedrooms and this is only 3, but may I ask you a question anyway? Sure. Would you want to put an offer on this home anyway? How many of you can do that? It is so much fun. Willie can do it, Lee can do it. Yes. Gives me goosebumps just talking about it, because it's so cool to do that. And as long as you repeat the fact that they told you they didn't want to buy a 3-bedroom home, as long as you repeat that to them, so they know you listened to them when they came in the door and you asked them what they were looking for, they know that you listened, but it doesn't hurt to ask. Many times they'll laugh, not at you, they just laugh because it's humorous, and then they like you. And if they're a seller and they have a home to sell before they answer is no, they don't want to buy that one, you can say, well, there's 2 others for sale. Please drive by and, give me a call, I'll get you these properties if you want to look at them. And then they can say, well, I just think this home is overpriced. Well, in this case, it wasn't my listing. Actually, Larry had this on the market for over $300,000, and I had done an open house for him a couple weeks earlier, and I said, Larry, it's overpriced. Because I had done this, and I knew it was an overpriced home. It was $500, and I said, look. He said, what do you think the price should be? I said, I think it should be at $285. He called the seller, we dropped it to $285, and then I went back over there, and this is the result of that. But if people come in and say it's overpriced, we can say, well, there were 10 sales in the past 12 months. And when you do, you can configure how you want these printouts to look. And I always like days on market also. Days on market tells you a lot. So I always like days on market. I want the list price per square foot, the sold price per square foot, the year built, and the starting asking price. And then I also tell people, you'll see here that we don't just sell Jack White real estate homes. We can sell you RE/MAX, premier properties, we can sell you heritage. So this becomes very educational. And then if you've noticed, excuse me, I still have a cold. If you've noticed, on page 2, of course, I've made a copy of my business card, and I've asked for the business. Call me. You can put your business card there, but if you notice they call me, okay, fine, no, my sister's best friend, twice removed, used to sell real estate, maybe we'll call her, but no, Kathy said, call me. How easy is that? Always close, always be closing. So put your card there and all that. All right, but this is all they get from you. This is laying in the house. Now, I left these in Larry's house because it doesn't hurt anything. What would happen if I was doing new construction? Anybody?
The new construction.
Yeah, don't ever do this in a new construction listing. Anybody doing new construction, you can research the market, but don't leave the information out. Why?
The seller just wants
The builder might walk in the door, you don't know the builder from Adam, and he'll wonder why in the heck you're trying to sell Spinell and everybody else's homes when you're in a Spinell. They won't like it, and that poor listing realtor tendency will get fired. So know the market, but don't leave this information out. Don't leave it in the house. Don't leave any of your marketing materials in the house. But in a resale home, particularly a vacant resale home, I leave it there. It really only helps Larry. The other thing I do also, you do an open house for yourself or for Larry, and he'll print out flyers for you with your face on the flyers. Well, that's 20 flyers, and maybe you didn't give them all out at the open house. I put them back in the flyer box, in Larry's flyer box on the sign, but I put mine behind his. Because I don't want to upstage Larry. If somebody comes by and pulls a flyer, I don't think it's right for my name to be there first. I put my flyers behind Larry's. And I'll say, Larry, I put my leftover flyers behind yours, so that way if your flyers run out, there's still some flyers there. Nothing wrong with that. Makes sense. Okay. So then what I have for myself, this is what I leave in the house, is I have my own big fat printout. Where'd it go? Now, where did I put it? Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, I have my own printout where I have made a copy of all the houses and especially the 3 that are for sale, the full printout. So if somebody says, yes, as a matter of fact, we would like to look at the some houses, I have all the information right there with me. Of course, with your iPad and your iPhone, you could have done the same thing, but I've got a hard copy printout, so I'm ready to show that property. I just told them this needs to check availability. So I do a hard copy printout just for myself of all the houses that sold. That way, again, I get to know the market. You know the schools, you know market time, you know a lot about the houses. You are now the expert for the neighborhood. Any comments about that? Anybody doing that so far?
Yes,
Good.
and I highlight my name.
Oh,
at the
you do.
bottom.
Good for you. Good. Yes, that's on. No. John, I don't even do an adjustment when I'm doing a real formal market analysis for a listing appointment. It's complicated. You just don't need to do it. Now, when I sold houses in Houston, Texas, and they would have 300 home neighborhoods, and I would do a market analysis before I'd go on a listing appointment. Yes, you do some adjustments in those kind of neighborhoods, but our neighborhoods just aren't that big here generally. The only thing that you do need to, and I'm glad you asked the question, the only thing that I think is important to quickly research is if it's a short sale or a foreclosure. So I zoom through those listings real quick and determine if it's a short sale or foreclosure, and I write it down on here because these neighbors know if they were a foreclosure, and if you don't know that, and it might also explain why it sold for perhaps considerably less than the other houses sold for. So that is the one thing I do focus on is short sale, but I don't do an adjustment in the CMA program.
So, but in these houses that you have here, you have houses that are quite a bit different in square footage in 3, 4, and 5-bedroom homes. Doesn't the consumer associate those things with value? And what
Absolutely.
raises and lowers value?
Absolutely, John, I completely agree with you. And if there were 40 houses that had sold in the past 12 months, I would have probably been I would have narrowed it down to the 3-bedroom or the 4-bedroom homes. But with only 10 sales in the past 12 months, those neighbors don't care.
Do you not do that when you're just doing the CMA first?
If there's enough, definitely I do. But if you're wondering if I make the adjustments in the CMA program, I don't. I just make the adjustments based upon what what people can observe.
It seems like some agents do and some agents
I know.
don't. So,
Willie, what do you think?
I make the adjustment, but mine is already in the CMA program, like how much 3 bedrooms are worth, how much 2-car garage is worth, and whatnot. And so those are already in there. So when I do my CMA, I push the button for it, and it automatically
Sorts, but
sorts, and I do it that way.
and you can do that in the Flex CMA program.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that complicated to set that up that way, or
No, not at all.
it's already in there?
It's already in there. All you have to do is put, how much like a 2-car garage is worth. How much is a 1-car?
Well, how do you know how much it's worth?
Determine that.
There is something that came out that they.
Is it in the Flex program?
It's not in the Flex program.
You added in there.
Yeah, and I just.
So you've pre-programmed it in
So
there.
I pre-programmed it to where all I do is then I just hit the, and what it does the calculation, and then it tells you how many changes it made and whatnot, and so.
So what if you were to be that specific and you ended up with only 2 comparable sales? What would you do then?
Maybe widen it.
So you would eliminate some of the parameters so you have more to look at.
Mhm.
Yeah. John, I discovered that if you're too particular with your parameters, if you narrow them too much, you're not going to have enough information to share with people.
So you talk about those differences. You say, okay, this
I pretty much, if there's only like 6 sales in the whole neighborhood in the past 12 months, and the home I'm looking at is a 4-bedroom home, and 3 of them have been 4-bedroom sales and 3 were 3-bedroom sales, there might be a message there, but I don't necessarily do an adjustment in the printed information. We just talk about it.
I guess so if you have all things being, not all things, but say you have 2 homes that are similar, 2,000 square feet, one's 3 bedrooms, one's 4 bedrooms, how much of a difference is there in value there? How do you?
I don't second guess that. I only look at what they sold for. What did that 4-bedroom home sell for, and how quickly did it sell as compared to the 3-bedroom home? I think we make mistakes when we try to be too specific or we try to be appraisers. I think we can give people a cursory overview, and they can make a decision based on that. And time is money also, and time is money, and I don't think we should be spending hours doing a market analysis. What I'm showing you here, I can do in 20 minutes. 15 or 20 minutes. Now, a formal market analysis for a listing, I want to spend about an hour to do that, but I still don't think I'd be as specific as you are unless I was in a neighborhood with many, many, many houses. But, everyone does it differently. Any other comments, Terry?
So, like, if you say you have like a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, but the 3-bedroom was updated and the 4-bedroom was not, how do you, decide when you're doing, well, yeah, Joe Blow's house looks exactly like mine, only he hasn't done anything with his in 30 years, and I've completely updated mine, and it's the same square footage, or it's the same amount of bedrooms. How do you, when you're in this market and you're just doing something really quick and you're trying to explain to a customer, yeah, his sold, you just tell them his sold for 200 and this one sold for 300 because he didn't update anything?
Yes, pretty much that's what you say. And also, you have to believe the market time for the updated home is probably going to be less. And market time tells a lot.
That's true.
I'm not sure I understand this whole concept of adjustments.
Keep talking. I got to blow my nose. Just a second, Terry. Keep talking. Yeah, keep talking.
Keep talking, okay. So adjustments are kind of like you're determining the value of the home and you're adjusting it based on number of bedrooms or garage or square footage. So I don't quite understand what you do to get the
Willie, why don't you
adjustment and
help
what
us
an
with that?
adjustment
Yeah. What
does.
is it? Help
Like,
Terry.
say this, like I give, I think, 12,000 per, like, say, garage. Say if this house is the same and it has a one-car garage, this house has a two-car garage. So that extra garage, that extra stall is worth 12,000. And so I put that into the program.
You can add those
Yeah,
numbers.
and
in.
how much a bedroom might be worth 10,000. Okay, and so I put that in. So when I have this one, I can compare this one to this one because this one's a 3-bedroom, this one's a 4-bedroom, this one has 1-car garage, this one has a 2-car garage, or a 3-car garage. Pretty much 1 and 2, I mean, but, and then you just hit the, I just hit the button and it automatically averages and it subtracts or adds,
Like an appraisal.
you know.
I was just gonna say, so it's kind of like an appraisal.
Yep.
Does anybody,
One of 3 bedrooms and evens out.
exactly. Does anybody use that CMA program in Flex MLS? I do, not as specifically as you do. It's actually a wonderful program. And I'd never thought to be as specific as you are, Willie, but I'm sure it's very, very helpful.
But it's pretty simple, because once you put it in there, that's all you have to do, is put how much, how much a bedroom is worth, how much, and then the year of the house.
Year built matters, yeah.
2,000 or 1,000, somewhere around there, and you put that in there and stuff went on, and so all of them, you just click it.
How many of you, when you do your market analyses, look at the square footage, the sold price per square foot?
Sold price per square foot?
Yeah, how many look at that? Okay, what do you do if you're comparing a split level home to do a market analysis, and let's say in this neighborhood there's been 6 sales. 4 sales were split level homes and 2 were ranch style houses. What do you do with that?
Either use just the splits or add money for the ranch.
You have to use just the splits because why is that? Why is that?
Well, in Anchorage, you can't find a ranch.
No, that
But
it's
levels are by personal taste of, so they're gonna be the same style of house.
Per square foot.
they're more. Willie's right. What happens with a ranch, not necessarily depending on condition, is let's say that the average sold price per square foot for the split levels is going to be $175. The same year built, the average sold price for those 2 ranches, same year built, will probably be about $200 or $202 a square foot. So if you blend those square footages as you try to assess the value of the one split level that you're doing an analysis on, you will be too high. So you have to get the ranches out of that.
The split level also is considered a basement. And even though it's only daylight basement, basements are appraised at less value.
Yeah, they'll appraise at less value also, which skews the overall per square foot price.
Right.
Comments, thoughts, concerns? Making any sense? Yes, ma'am.
So I was playing with the CMA on Flex the other day, and with 0 lot lines versus single families. So is that kind of the same thing as split versus ranch?
Absolutely. Yeah, you'll need to get rid of the single families on freestanding homes on their own lot. You'll have to get rid of that to do a good attached 0 lot line market analysis. And in some neighborhoods, since it's such a mix of single families and attached zeros in the same neighborhood, you'll want to kill yourself as you start picking and choosing the ones that you have to cull out.
How I ended up doing it was limiting the square foot of the lot, because they could be only on so much lot.
Excellent. That's what I do as well. Right. If I'm in a neighborhood, and I can't think of the name of the neighborhood that used to cause me all kinds of havoc. Over on the west side, where there's so many split levels and single families, the only way you can quickly eliminate all the single families is by lot size. Just get rid of seems to me if we got rid of everything at 6,000 square foot lot and above, then we were left with just the attached zeros. That really was what we wanted. Okay, now, there's a difference though. This is the CMA I do for an open house. This is not I don't even go into the CMA program to do this. This is just a write-off MLS. Now, if I'm doing a formal market analysis and a listing presentation, this is the backbone of going into the CMA program, but I'll do a formal CMA. But you don't need to do that. In my view, you don't need to do that you're just needing something to hand out to people. So you can say what's sold in the past 12 months and still what's for sale, and also sale pending.
How often, my buyers we made 2 offers, and now we're in contract, but there was 3 properties they were interested in. They wanted CMAs on all of those properties. So do you do more of a formal or one like this?
I do this.
Okay.
I do this. That's a good question. This is exactly what I do. We email it right to them. Now, I put a cover email on it, and I explain to them what they're looking at. Because with no explanation, it could be confusing. So I'll just say, I'm glad you asked for the market analysis on this home before we made an offer. There are only 3 for sale, ranging from this price to this price, 10 sold in the past 12 months. And particularly in a situation like that, market time is really important because if they're going to drag their feet, they might lose the house. So I always go into market time, in this market especially. Another question? Okay, Sveta, if we're sort of done with this, although we can jump back to it, Sveta, I want us to tell you how you handled that buyer that wanted you to continue to make low offers as if you had no life.
We actually just, actually on Friday, I got a response that the last offer that we made, the lowball offer, that it was rejected. So
Surprise!
I know, right? So over the weekend, I didn't want to, because they're very interesting. They text me a lot, and I'm not a huge fan of texting for business. I'd rather call someone or see them in person.
Yeah, me too.
But they're just the type of people who keep texting.
They must be young.
Sort of. They're in their early 30s. They're not.
They're young.
So is she.
They're super young.
Yeah, so I didn't want to text them and let them know. So I scheduled a meeting with them. We actually went to go see a different house, and while we were there, I told them, I was like, well, first of all, your 90% letter is crap. You need to, go see a real mortgage originator.
Did you really say crap?
I did. I used
Whoa!
No, and I exactly pointed out why it was crap, awesome. And I pulled out the Alaska the contract, and I pointed everything that's missing, and I told them it's not compatible with the contract. So, chances of even if somebody does accept their lowball offer, that their finance falling through.
They're a crappy offer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a real offer at all. And
so you start educating these people.
Exactly. So I am in the process of getting them the good financing first, or for them getting approved.
Great.
But I still have to talk to them about making a real serious. But it's coming there.
Yeah, it sounds like you're making progress. Yes. Okay, and Terry, you had a situation where you had some people that weren't responding to your emails or your text messages or your phone calls, and what happened with it? And Brad, listen, this is important. I learned this from Brad last week. Brad said he just keeps sending him a similar email, as if he hadn't sent previous emails, as if it's the first time he's talked with him. And it was great advice, Brad. So how did all that end up?
They contacted me back.
Finally? After how many days?
After 3 days. And so I corresponded with them and said, want to set up a meeting? We set up a meeting, and then they bailed on me at the last minute. We're too tired. And then the next day, we really want to get together with you. And that was 3 days ago. I've texted them twice, emailed them a couple times. I got them on the auto email to look at places they're interested in, but I haven't heard back from them. So I'm just not going to give up. I figure every 3 days I'll text them or email them.
As Brad said, yeah.
Are they viewing the properties you're sending them? It should tell you that they've viewed your email.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Do they have a young child at home, a baby, or why are they so tired?
Kids.
2 little kids? Okay.
2 kids. He's got a good
You know, it's interesting. This story is interesting because Lee and I are working with a couple, and you sometimes wonder how some couples even had enough gumption to be able to make a decision to marry each other. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
Somebody else made the decision for them.
Oh, you think? Anyway, a beautiful couple. They're nice. They're respectful. We like them. But holy mackerel, they just can't seem to make a decision. And I was starting to think, because there was one for sale by owner that they started to have an interest in, but I was able to, we've schooled them. They've signed a buyer rep agreement. I've already counseled them more than once that if they buy a for sale by owner and the for sale by owner won't pay the commission, then the buyer gets to pay the commission. So they are remembering that crystal clear. So, and I've had to remind them of that because there's a for sale by owner that they had seen. So I communicated with the for sale by owner and have it in email writing that they will pay a 3% commission to Jack White should our buyers purchase this home. So we had them all scheduled to write an offer 2 days ago. This is what, Tuesday? Maybe it was just yesterday. We're going to write an offer yesterday, and at the last minute they called and say no, and it wasn't on the for sale by owner, which I don't really want them to buy the for sale by owner. It's got a vertical driveway for starters. But I'd shown them a really cool house in Littlebrook, and that was such a perfect home for them, but it's more than they think they want to spend, back and forth, back and forth. And so when they canceled yesterday, in plenty of time for me not to have started the offer, I'm thinking that was a nice thing to do, but why did they, you start getting a little suspicious. Are they now negotiating strictly with the for sale by owner? I called them both yesterday, never heard back, so I started thinking about what we talked about. And the truth is, after all these years in the business, I'm starting to feel a little rejected by them after all these years and after all the counseling I gave them, after all the times we spent with them showing them houses, starting to feel a little rejected. And thought, and it would have been my nature to have given them a little breathing room, 2 or 3 days to before I would have called again or texted again. It's just kind of, I'm busy and we have real hot clients to work with. But I thought about our class last week and I thought, no, I'm going to call them again today. I called yesterday, no call back. We've done a lot for them. Called them today thinking, I'll bet they're negotiating with that for sale by owner and they're going to be sorry they did. But I got him on the phone first thing and he said, oh, I'm so glad you called. We've been thinking about you. This is what we're doing, and this is the direction we're going to go. And in fact, I made the call as I was pulling the parking lot here. And they had not gone away, but in my mind, they had gone away. And if I hadn't made the call today, maybe they would have gone away. But now, everything is still very copacetic. So it's so important to make those calls. Even though we're starting to feel a little rejected, make the call anyway. What can it hurt? All right. Anything else before we are done with CMAs for open houses? Doing good? What did you learn today, sir? Dan, what did you learn today that you didn't know before?
Well, some techniques, I think, for dealing with some of the people. Be not exactly aggressive, but persistent.
Persistent, yeah. Exactly. Right. And it's, I've said this many times. When we were kids, we were told by our parents when we went to visit the neighbors' houses that when you go in the house, you never ask for a piece of candy, you never ask for a cookie. In fact, your family would probably stuff you before you went over there just so you wouldn't embarrass them and brought too much to eat. So we were schooled when we had, polite parents. We were schooled never to ask for things. But sales is totally opposite of that. We have to totally get out of the comfort zone, and we have to be asking constantly for the order. Not the least of which is call me on the second page of my CMA. Not the least of which is I made that call today. Already feeling a little rejected, I made the call. Almost afraid to make the call. I was afraid I was going to, Kathy, we're so sorry, but we've already made an offer on that for sale by owner. And then, of course, I would have had to give them the really bad news that they owed me $10,000. And you don't want to do that. You don't really want to do that. But I actually was afraid that's what I was going to hear, and it was totally the opposite. So sales is so unique in that we literally are always having to ask for the business, ask for the order. Anybody feel uncomfortable with that besides Lee? She's getting better. She's getting better. Terry?
Yeah, I feel a little uncomfortable, but I'm coming to the realization you have to embrace rejection if you're going to succeed in this business.
Love that. John probably embraces rejection 90 times a week, right, John?
Pretty close.
So what do you do? What do people say to you? What does rejection look like in your esteemed life?
No, we're not interested. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no. You hear a lot of no's.
But I get 2 yeses a week and someone who wants to work with me, and it won't happen unless I hear those no's.
John, that's a great story, really. That's beautiful. It's not about us. I mean, you make a phone call, they don't know what you look like, they don't know if you're in your pajamas, they don't know if you're an axe murderer, they know nothing about you. It's a phone call. They can't hurt you, but you got to be asking. You got to be asking for the order. All right, people, that's good enough for today. Thank you. Nice to see everybody here. Thanks for the pizza.
We told that owner that 285 was what that house was worth originally.
Oh.
Before Larry listed it.
Were you competing for the listing?
I didn't think I was. He was my neighbor. I helped him get his house energy rated.
Oh, no. You're kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a lesser commission. I should have. Good for you. No, you're right. You're right. That's amazing.
That's exactly what we told him
That's
was.
amazing.
285. So it was great
That's
to
where
hear
he
you
is
say
today.
that's what your CMA was. I was like, yes, I knew we were right.
That's funny. Small world.
Other times I just can't make it.
Saturday and Sunday had pretty good. Had her husband with her.
Okay. Yeah, so nice to be here. Yeah.
A strong brother. Cool.
Definitely. So much.
She has Sunday she brought her husband.
Right. Yeah, I felt kind of nervous, talking to people first, but now it's like whatever. They're not, they don't like what I have to offer, and I guess it's not the right fit,
Yeah, chicken, it's off the chain, especially warm. What's that? Oh, well, I gotta have that warm, and I'm trying to tell you, it's off the chain. That's just my. What's your go-to pizza? Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
When I go there and I get a pizza, that's the only pizza.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. We all have our process there.
Definitely.
Yeah, I tasted it. Kathy, did you get the pizza?
No, but you know what?
Did you get some pizza? I'm telling you. It's off the chain.
He said that's the best stuff there is.
I'm going to say,
I'll have some. Get some of my little pig stuff. It's
Really? All right, go back, Chris.
what kind of pizza is it, Ellie?
This is, avalanche.
Heart attack in a mom.
That's why you don't do it all the time. You know?
So where'd you get it?
That's Bear Tooth. Well, yeah, that was Bear Tooth. Warm, it's like we're saying. Really good. Dive in, Dan. It's good. You're very welcome. Warm, though, Kathy, it is. Yeah. hard to get in with him. So if you didn't book it then, you weren't going to get in. Oh, he's real good. He passed away. He was my barber since I was like 14, somewhere around there. So for over 40 years he cut my hair. So as long as I didn't go to sleep or go in there chewing and moving my head, he was good.